Reliance Communications selling a bulk of their assets to Reliance Jio. That deal went through late yesterday evening. Relief for banks, but also has a number of implications for the telecom sector. Joining us to talk about some of those is industry veteran and former Airtel CEO Sanjay Kapoor. Good morning, sir. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. I think the obvious narrative that started as soon as we got the announcement of the deal was that, this is one brother bailing out the other. But if you look beyond that narrative, I think a lot of analysts have pointed out that perhaps Reliance Jio was, the best contender for some of these assets and stands to benefit the most out of picking these assets up. Would you tend to agree, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in a commercial world about, somebody bailing out somebody else for the heck of it. I think there are commercials involved and there are listed companies in the picture. So if you really evaluate what's happened, today any consolidation that happens in the market, there are essentially only three consolidators. There's either Jio or Airtel or Voda Idea combined. I think Voda Idea combined is pretty busy putting up their merger together. Airtel has been aggressive in acquiring whatever comes their way and makes sense to them. I think this particular asset, any which way, made more sense for Jio to acquire, and two very key reasons. One, that they understand this asset better than others. When this asset got created, they were creating this asset at that time because it was one group at that time, and they know how this asset got created and what's behind the methodology that they adopted to create this asset. The second is that they are the only players who've been using this asset on a sharing basis over the past year or so. And then again, they have a current knowledge of how to utilize this asset and to accord a value to it better than others. And thirdly, and more importantly, they are a 4G only player, and 800 megahertz of spectrum and 850 megahertz of spectrum is very vital for their customer experience and in building coverage. And therefore, it makes more sense to them than anybody else. And finally, I think anybody who does 4G only play understands the importance of fiber and fiber backhaul and fiber access. And anywhere in the world when wireless grows, wired grows faster. And there's no reason why India will not require tons of fiber to support customer experience, which is of a video grade network. And keeping that in mind, they acquire 178,000 kilometers of fiber in addition to whatever they had. Now, how much of this is intercity and how much of this is intracity is to be seen. The more intracity, the more potent it will be, because a lot of intracity fiber is available, but not much intracity fiber, which is worth its while, which can improve customer experience, and obviously the quality of the network will probably be more potent. So I think any which way you look at it, it made more sense. But I'm very happy for RCom as well, because it really gives them a decent exit and bridges their gap on their 45,000 crores outstanding. And it's also good news for all their lenders because they get some money back.
I'll come to RCom in a minute, Sanjay, but just on RJio. From what I could understand from your comments, you do think that it moves the needle for RJio. So are we now in a battle, a battle of equals between the three that we have, the largest players? Is there a first among equals, and is it RJio?
Look, I think RJio was already utilizing these assets. It's only that it has transformed from a sharing arrangement to an ownership arrangement. So, I'm not very clear as to were there any aspects of the asset that they were not utilizing in the sharing agreement. And if they were not, then to that degree it is accretive. But if anybody believes that this game is going to be won just by amassing more spectrum, that's not true. This game is going to be won in a non-linear environment on customer experience. And to build a customer experience, you require all legs of the infrastructure, all legs of the content, all legs of the devices, all legs of the digital services, storage, etc., etc. So I think they are putting the game together. It's very early to decide, who's leading, who's not leading. But very clearly, I don't believe the least priced player in the market will be the winner. It'll be the player who accords the best service experience on a network which is capable of delivering video will be the ultimate winner in the market.
But Sanjay, good morning. Neeraj here. Will it be a case of one winner, or could it well be that all three players thrive? Because I remember some commentary about a couple of months ago wherein RelJio first hiked the prices, that people said that maybe the competitive intensity is just ebbing off a bit, and all three players will eventually, if not one-third, will have a fair bit of market share and will make a fair bit of money in what will not be a monopoly but a bit of an oligopoly.
So, I don't want to be crystal ball gazing on the numbers, but my sense tells me that in the new digitized format where digital services are going to play a very vital role in delivering your experience to the customers and creating stickiness with the customers, I think the cardinal rule here is not that winner takes it all. I don't believe there'll be one winner. That you have consolidated the industry to an oligopoly in itself tells you that there'll be three large players. Now, will there be two large players who will be profitable and the third one probably on the bottom line, on the borderline, or will there be one large player then followed by the second one, followed by the third one, and probably all three make money? I think that will really come out in the next couple of years. I think we'll figure that out with how the customer rates the experience and what is the transformation that you see from all these operators to move from just access providers to digital services providers in future. So I think it's a trifle early to be judging that, but in an oligopolistic format that is coming out, I think winner takes it all is not going to be the truth.
Sanjay, shifting focus to RCom and their new plans, what do you make of their plan to become mostly a B2B player from here on? The businesses that they have left, what is your sense of their standalone sustainability?
Look, one truth we all cannot deny, which is that the enterprise services in India have not really evolved. Not that they are overly evolved in other parts of the world, but I think in the developed part of the world, they have moved quite a bit on bespoke solutions that they provide to their enterprise customers and the degree of services and coverage that they have on enterprise customers. In India, specifically the small and medium enterprises, there's a very dismal coverage that happens. We all talk about cloud-based products, but when you really look at the penetration, it's very, very small numbers, and it's very embryonic. Now, given that, if you were to ask me to say, does enterprise services have a potential? Of course, it has a big potential, given that India has a great future on the enterprise side of things. And with the growth in the GDP that we all envisage in the coming periods and coming years. Now, for a standalone enterprise player to make a virtue out of this, has it happened in India in the past? No. Have some people tried? Yes. But they have not tried on a full blast. I think the advantage that RCom will have here is that they are now devoid of that baggage on fledgling wireless business and other facets of the business. So they have an asset where they can concentrate and probably make some virtue out of it. Will they be able to sustain this business on a standalone basis on a long term? I'm not too sure. I think the industry is also reforming itself, and we'll figure that out, because I don't see that Jio is not going to spare that space for others. They are going to dive into that space as well, and they have big pockets. Airtel wants to be in that space. I'm sure Voda, Idea combined want to be in that space as well. So it's going to be a very competitive space, but for now, I think it allows him to focus very intensely on that business, and let's see if he can make something out of that business. But at least he doesn't have the baggage.
That's
very true, Sanjay. Thanks so much. Appreciate you taking the time to speak to us, and very happy New Year to you. Probably the last time, certainly the last time we're speaking to you this year, but thanks a lot for your time.
Happy New Year to all of you and the viewers as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Sanjay.